Are we live?
Yes, we are.
Hey, Dan. Hey, everybody. We are so sorry. We had a little bit of technical difficulties there. So we're going to wait another 30 seconds or so. But if anybody is in here, please say hi on the comments. We would really appreciate it. But we want to apologize for any of you who came and you didn't see us for the first minute and a half. We were having technical difficulties. Welcome to our world. But
Exactly.
we fixed it, which is great. Welcome to today's event. We're really excited to be here for this webinar. We'll just wait another. Do you want to just jump right into it, Dan?
Oh, I think we should just jump in. Yeah,
Just jump in.
absolutely.
Okay.
100%. It's so excited to be here live too and in this webinar. So, about rapid
Rapid.
response and managed detection and response and all of that stuff. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
All right.
100%.
So
Take it
today,
away.
all right, perfect. So today's webinar, as Dan just said, is rapid response to today's threats. So the reason we're having this webinar, guys, and we're having it actually 4 times this month, and we're really excited. We have a special promotion, which we're going to be talking about. But I know that our team has been reaching out to everybody via LinkedIn, via social media, other channels, direct emails, etc. So for those of you who are here, thank you so much. For those of you who aren't, hopefully we'll see you on one of the next shows over the next 3 weeks. But we have some pretty exciting stuff. We're going to go through the agenda in a second, but I just wanted to let you guys all know that this is all about, like I said, a very unique offer. It's going to be very surface level, talking about the MDR, what it is. I'm sure most people who are in attendance have an understanding, but we're going to kind of go over it a little bit and then talk a little bit about the value that we're putting in place for the month of April for anybody who is in attendance and is looking to have an MDR put in their network. So, excuse me. Everybody, whoever is here, please feel free to say hi in the message. We'd love to see that you're here and people are in attendance. But what I will do is we'll go over today's agenda for you. So today we're going to have an introduction, of course, how attacks happen, I think, which is really important. What's the disconnect? Why people are having potential issues with their layered approach, and why there is a disconnect from certain things that definitely going to help you. Hey, Sonia, nice to see you. I just got a message in here, so we definitely have some live people, which is wonderful. For those who aren't saying hi or shy, please enjoy today's webinar. We're going to be talking about the managed detection response, which is really important. So the managed detection response, the MDR, otherwise known as MDR, and why is the MDR so important to you as an organization? And then, drum roll, Dan, the
Oh, wow.
bonus offer. The bonus offer is what we're going to be talking about as well at the end. So hope you all enjoy. Please don't hesitate to put any questions on the side. But this whole entire webinar is about just the surface level MDR dive, and then talking about the special offer that we're providing to our customers. So Rhyno Cybersecurity. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Rhyno and our services. So Rhyno, we've been in the tech space for well over a decade, and hyper specializing in cybersecurity over the last 7 years. Some of our services include, which are on the board here, which is wonderful, ethical hacking. So that is from anything from vulnerability scans, vulnerability assessments, penetration tests, things that are very important for companies and organizations to do on an annual basis, and also on a quarterly basis, depending on what your requirements are in the industry you're in. Managed detection and response, so the MDR, that's what we're going to be diving a lot deeper into today, into discussing. Secured hosting, I think it's pretty explanatory, but for those of you who are looking for a secured hosting package with regular security updates, high speed, helping with SEO, private cloud service, we are very honored and proud to have many customers on our service. And if you want to ever transfer over, we're happy to have you. And customer awareness training. So our Rhyno Academy, what we do with that is we're pretty proud. It's a 6-month slow drip, culture building process, as well as we have live lunch and learns. We do custom cybersecurity training for certain organizations and industries. So if that is something that you guys are lacking or something you want to find more information about, please don't hesitate to reach out. And then consulting services. Our consulting services are kind of a missing piece for those businesses that are out there that you think you have all of yourself covered. You're either working with an MSP or you have an IT team in place or an IT individual, but you just don't have that level of expertise. So we come in and we do a deep dive, and we do some real good consulting or amazing consulting with your team to give you guidance of where you should be, heightening your concerns and putting your focus in. So that's us. Introduction about myself. I'm Andrew Somerton, President and CEO. Been in business for well over 35 years. I'm getting old. Mostly sales, marketing, advertising, and business ownership. Very, very happy and proud to be in the tech space. As we know, it's always evolving and changing, so it keeps us on our toes. And with my guidance and my support is my business partner, our CTO, and our risk advisor. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dan Duran, who you'll learn an awful lot from. So, Dan, over to you, my friend.
Fantastic. You look good in that picture, Andrew,
Do
for
I?
sure.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, so yeah, this is myself a little selfish introduction here. I have 14 years of experience in information security. I have a master's degree in cybersecurity from Georgia Tech Institute of Technology. I have an MBA and specializations in information security as well as agile project management. Hence, I'm able to manage from a high level everything that's going on in our SOC, Secure Operations Center, as well as our managed detection and response solutions, our network intrusion detection, and all of that technology that is fantastic. I'm also a CISSP, so Certified Information System Security Professional with ISC Square. And I'm a coach in cybersecurity training, so I wear many hats. I'm wearing one today, and then it's the Rhyno Cybersecurity hat. I'm the CTO of Rhyno Cybersecurity. Very proud of being working with such a wonderful team and wonderful clients that we have. All right, so okay, so I'm going to start by talking about the network and how everything interplays in terms of your cybersecurity and all the layers, right? And then this is going to give you kind of a premise of what you can expect on any network and how attacks happen, right? So you have a network, and this could be your network, my network, right? So anybody's any company, right? So you have a company, you have a network. Now, it is composed of endpoints, and in terms of endpoints, anything that acquires an IP address, your servers, your workstations, your laptops, all of those mobiles, network devices, edge devices, they're all endpoints, and they do have security. You probably have security in place. I mean, this has been it's established for a long time. You have some sort of antivirus as minimum, all the way to XDR, EDR, application control, GPOs, updates, patching, and all of that for your endpoints, which are very important. So this is layer 2 in the OSI model, right? So layer 2 information and data pertaining to each endpoint. Now, then there is another dimension, which is your email. Email is never going away. You probably get tons of emails, and a lot of them are spam. A lot of them are phishing attempts, right? So there's a lot of security involved in email, like secure email gateways, anti-spam, anti-phishing, anti-impersonation technology, and all of that, right? So it's not perfect. None of this is perfect, right? And everything is layered. So you have this layer here, which is email. Then you go into the DNS. And I'm going a little faster here because we want to focus really on the managed detection and the response piece. And this is just giving you kind of like introduction of how an attack happens. We have this layer, which is the DNS layer. So you have anything that has to do with conversations with your web browser and getting out there into the world, your domain resolutions, right? So DNS filtering, you have web shields, you have browser protection, you have all of this good stuff. Hopefully you do. A lot of companies don't have this piece, which is very important because a lot of attacks happen through DNS problems. And then you have the human component. And then in terms of the human component, there's a lot of issues, right? So they say that humans are kind of like the weakest link when it comes to cybersecurity. Everybody knows that. But how do we affect humans to be able to act accordingly? I don't know. That's the conundrum. And it seems
It's
that
always a challenge.
it's always a challenge. In here, you have GRCs, which are governance, risk, and compliance. You have information security policies, all the management side of things. You have cybersecurity awareness training, which is one of the things that we also provide. You have attack simulations and all of that, try to contain attacks to the humans, right? So, and then we have at the very end your firewall. This is your perimeter security. So the firewall protects anything from coming from the outside world into your little cocoon, per se, into your secure, your trusted network. Right. So firewalls have been there forever, since the 1980s, since I could remember. Firewall and a very important piece of your cybersecurity. Right. You have all kinds of firewalls with AI and all of that stuff right now, with threat intelligence and built-in and all of that stuff. Very good. However, the firewall has one problem. And oops, I clicked the button and there it is. That's
There
the
it is.
problem. The problem is that when anything is action from inside of the firewall. So think about, an endpoint has a misconfiguration, or you have a port open to the outside world, or it's not patched, or goes through the endpoint. An attack goes through the endpoint. A piece of malware attaches itself to the network. Once it's inside of the network, it is pretty much impossible to get it out and to detect it. And I'll show you why that happens. So, but when this connection happens, and the action is happening from from inside of the network out, the firewall opens up its door, because it's saying, okay, this is coming from my trusted network, so I'm just going to open a connection and a port on the IP address, or the endpoint, right? And this is where we get something like this. So you have the piece of malware in here connecting to a mothership, so the command and control server from the hacker, and you can see that it's a direct link to it. So something is happening in here, as the time goes by. So I'm talking about hours, I'm talking about days, I'm talking about weeks, months. The hackers start to build a foothold inside of your network, right? So remember, this is your network, and this is happening right under your nose. You have no idea that this is happening. And usually when you kind of notice that something is happening, it's a bit too late. It's when the hackers have ransomware the entire operation. They have, like encrypted all the servers, encrypted all the devices, and then they're holding you ransom for not just the encryption keys, but also for the data they have exfiltrated from your network. And now this is the worst of the worst. This is where you don't want to be. Anybody that has gone through this, we can attest from the people and the companies that come to us. It is an ordeal, and it's extremely hard to get out of this. So, and this is not just me talking, right? If we look at, for example, at the cost of a data breach report from the IBM Security, this is a very famous report that comes out every year. On average, people and companies are paying $4.45 million for a ransomware attack, or a breach, a data breach to their network, right? So this is across the board, small, medium, and large companies. This is what the average is year after year. And then if you look, for example, at why this is happening, well, you can see that 1 in 3 number of breaches identified by an organization's own security team. So the security team inside of your company, 1 out of 3 are the chances that they will be able to identify. The other 2, so 2 out of 3, would be external entities like Rhyno Cybersecurity that are inside of the network monitoring. And as we're going to talk about in the managed detection and response piece, external entities, third parties that are in charge of your security. So you see how vendors like ourselves that are specialized in cybersecurity are so important for keeping you secure. Now, if you look at the time to identify and contain a data breach, in 2023, you can see here that it's 277 days.
Yeah.
So when I talk about, a piece of malware being on your network and is undetectable, it really is, right? This is happening under your nose. You don't know what's going on inside of your network. And it takes 204 days to be able to identify, and you go, oh, gee, there's something inside of my network. And then it takes 73 days to be able to contain the attack after a ransomware has happened or a data breach has happened, right? So these are the days. It is a long time. And that's what we're trying to do in terms of when you have a network and intrusion detection system and then a service like a managed detection and response like ours.
And
So
Dan, just before you get into what the disconnects, I think it's really important. First, I want to just say, just want to interrupt you for a second and say hi to everybody who's saying hi. I really appreciate you all showing up and joining us. Please don't hesitate if you do have any questions. Again, this webinar is a surface level webinar based on our experience with our customers. And the reason I wanted to kind of interrupt Dan there was because the whole premise of this is about being reactive and proactive, right? The most important thing, the most cost-effective solution, the most timely, the most non-stressful is being proactive. When we are reactive, when clients come to us and they're reactive to by not having the right tools in place, not having the right infrastructure, not having the right support, not having an MDR, not having visibility on their network, etc., and all of a sudden something happens, they come to us in a reactive mode where it's panic. They're stressed out, their information is being potentially lost, their reputation is lost, and the cost of that is much more than just a monetary aspect. It's like I said, it's reputation, it's content, it's everything. But when you're proactive, and that's where we at Rhyno Cybersecurity wanted to be proactive, and explain to you through our experience and giving you these type of options and meeting with you guys on an individual basis and understanding your infrastructure, your network, we're going to be able to give you those solutions that you're proactive. So you hopefully mitigate, and it's all about mitigation. It's not about elimination. If anybody tells you that you're 100% eliminating risk, they're not accurate. But cybersecurity is about mitigating risk, putting all the right layers in place to help better protect you. So to mitigate that risk from ever happening. And that's why we're putting this webinar in place, guys. And that's why we're bringing this special offer to you. And that's why we're bringing it to your attention. So Dan, I didn't mean to jump in there, but I think it's so important that they understand the 100%. Value of what we're doing. And everybody, hi guys. Thanks, man.
100%. So being reactive it's not a good thing. And even when you're being reactive, you need to have a plan in place so your time to going back to operations could be minimized, right? So you have to have a plan. Absolutely. For being reactive, right? So what's the disconnect? We see like people getting hacked, companies getting hacked, coming to us and saying, guys, we got ransomware. This is how much we negotiated for it, or this is how much what we lost and stuff like that. So the first thing that we see is insufficient security measures. Absolutely, 100%. The firewall had an issue, right? It wasn't patched, or we didn't have VPN. And people could remote into our network. Our email was not working, and it was going a lot of phishing emails going through. So insufficient security measures by far is the first thing that allows an attacker to get into the network, right? So then there's the lack of planning, right? So you have these security things in place, but you don't have a plan of action, and you're not acting on that plan. So if you have, for example, a vulnerability risk management plan, then you know that all your devices are going to be patched. You know that you're going to have smaller security holes in your operations because you have a plan and you're acting on that plan. When there is no plan, then you don't know what you have, right? So lack of planning, I think it's 40 to 45% of SMBs currently do not have a cybersecurity plan in place. So it's very detrimental. Working remotely adds another complexity to the whole thing. Cloud adoption. Like a lot of people or a lot of business leaders, they want to move into the cloud without knowing what the future holds for them. The intricacies of getting in systems into the cloud and the security that comes with it is very important. Things like bring your own device, your phones, bring your own laptops to work. Things that are outside of your control, pose also a risk factor, as well as like things like APT, so active persistent threats, or supply chains. We see a lot of those. Ransom as a service, which is kind of proliferating in the world of ransomware. And the last one is a workforce shortage. Yeah. And this one is huge because there's a lot of demand for cybersecurity specialists and professionals. However, there's little supply, so it is very expensive to be able to hire competent staff to work for you, right? So there's a workforce shortage. absolutely in the United States, also in Canada. So these
Yeah,
are the main
globally.
disconnect. It's globally. This
Yeah.
thing is global. This is the main disconnect. Now, let me introduce to you the managed detection and response tool. So, Andrew, take it away. What is it? Everybody wants to know, what is it?
Yeah, no, and you know what? I'm so happy that we're able to explain this in a greater detail. So, for those of you who feel that you have the right protections, and Dan just showed you that layered approach. Managed detection and response is that missing piece, is that layer that gives you that it's real time, intrusion detection, and it's 24/7, 365 monitoring, and it's human incident response. And I want you guys to, and I read that very, very quickly, but I'm going to go in a little bit more detail. What I want you to hyper focus on is real time, sorry, the purple text. So real time, 24/7, 365, and human. The thing that's so critically important is, so remember when Dan was talking in a few slides back, and this is what I want you guys to put in perspective as you guys are thinking about implementing an MDR or these type of services into your network. 277 days is the average breach time. So just over 200 days for a potential risk or a vulnerability be sitting in your network and pivoting until it actually takes control. What an MDR does, and with the professional team and the right resources and the right organization, it detects these concerns in real time. So basically immediately. And what happens is with the right SLA agreement, it's usually reported within a 20-minute time. So what that means to you as a customer, these people or these organizations or these threats are sitting in your network no longer for 277 days to the point where they're doing ransom. They're being identified immediate in real time, where they can be isolated and potentially mitigated or shut down to the point where there isn't an extended threat for you. And that's I mean, that speaks volumes. I don't think I need to say any more than that, but I think you need to sit back and understand the value of that. The 24/7, 365. So any business owner out there, any manager, any organization that has to concern themselves with cost, especially in today's economy, as we know, it's extremely expensive. Could you imagine having a team or an individual or individuals in your organization to manage your network 24/7, 365? That's holidays, that's weekends, that's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's not obtainable. It's just too expensive. And if they can even do it, so to Dan's point, do they have the skill set to do it? So hiring people is one thing. Having the infrastructure and the skill set is a whole nother thing. So 24/7 monitoring to protect your network. And then the human incident response aspect. So a lot of our endpoint services that are out there are AI or automated tools, right? So the nice thing about an MDR has a couple facets to it. And one of the main facets, the human component. So there's AI, and I'll talk about, so the AI is a self-learning, artificial intelligence basically that gives you and gives your MDR the ability to understand your network, the regular habits, what people are doing each and every day. It knows more about your employees than you do. I'm telling you right now. But on top of that, there's so much information that's being filtered to and through the MDR that it's almost humanly impossible to detect everything. So what happens is, especially for an individual or an organization inside your IT organization. So the MDR with the IT and the expertise, it mitigates all those risks and hyper focuses on the ones that are potentially high concerns. So there's so many false positives that those ones are identified and pushed over to the side. And go ahead, Dan. Yeah, jump in.
If I may jump in, Andrew,
of course.
My apologies. So the thing is, in every network, in every company, there is a number or a threshold of false positives, and you're completely 100% correct in there, Andrew. So there is a threshold, right? So when you get those alerts on your email, or you see the alerts on the dashboards, for example, there needs to be somebody, even if you have AI, because you do have AI, and it helps quite a bit in terms of weeding out what's false and what we need to focus on. But imagine having or sitting, having a human, an analyst, being able to weed out whatever false positives we get and being able to do threat hunting on those false positives or any alerts that we get. So that is the human component. So imagine you're in bed at 1 a.m., right? And then you have a AI, you have a tool with AI, you have a tool that has all the monitoring and it sends you an email. You're going to be sleeping, right? So by the time you wake up in the morning and check out the logs and whatever it is that you have, you already let 5, 6, 7 hours go by until that what you went, oh, there's an intrusion. That time is critical. You need to have a human in there to be able to tell whether this is a false positive or is a real attack.
Exactly.
Right, so the human component is critical when it comes to managed detection and response, network intrusion detection systems, because there is a threshold of false positives that need to be analyzed at all times, 24/7.
No, that's great, Dan. I appreciate you jumping in, because that extra clarity definitely goes a long way, especially for anybody trying to make a decision if they want to be putting an MDR in their network. So, I mean, this is what this whole webinar is about. So, thank you for that.
All right, go ahead.
So basically, continuous visibility over, obviously, over your network. So this is what's really important about. So an MDR, what it is, it gives you continuous visibility. So we totally see everything at all times, 24/7, 365. So imagine taking off those blinders on, after hours, taking off the blinders on the weekends, taking off the blinders on the holidays. Somebody, an organization with expertise, is monitoring every aspect of your internal operations 24/7, 365, giving you that peace of mind and that confidence to mitigate that risk. And again, let's just emphasize, you're mitigating that risk. You're not totally eliminating it, but I always like to use an analogy. Imagine your network has a hole in it this big. Well, what an MDR does on top of everything else, it reduces it to pinhole, and it's constantly moving it around. And then the nice thing about it, if anything does get through, it's identified in real time versus 277 days, as we talked about in the past. So let's just recap a little bit, guys, because again, this is an overview. Why do you need an MDR and why it is so important to your network? So 24/7, 365 protection, I think that's self-explanatory. Response time is critical. Having the proper people with their expertise being able to respond quickly to any potential threats. Complete visibility. So now you have eyeballs and AI on everything you have happening in your organization, all of your protection, and it's being visually protected and looked at on a regular basis all day, every day. And then this, I think this is really important too. It's a complementary. It's not extra service. It's compatibility with other services. So what's really nice about that, it gives you the ability to leverage what you already have in place, and then give you that extra layer over top of it to really tighten everything up to make sure you're mitigating your risk.
Yeah, so if I might just interject on this. So what we mean about compatibility is that, for example, let's say you have a Cisco firewall, right? So and you don't need to change it to another type of firewall if you are using a service like ours, right? So our service is very technology agnostic. You don't have to get a different type of endpoint protection. You don't have to get another type of firewalls or any security appliances or products to make the managed detection and response work. It is completely agnostic. You just install it, drop it in, plug and play, and then connect the different pieces or alert on different pieces. We get emails, for example, from firewalls. We get emails from this all the other security appliances or integrations. We can actually ingest data from different sources like endpoint protection and stuff like that, right? So completely compatible with any company out there. The managed detection response is
absolutely. And as I touched on just earlier, and Dan did earlier as well, the affordability. The resources are one thing to be able to tap in. If you have a big company, you have the resources to hire somebody. That's fine. But finding somebody and then finding the capability, then not just one person. Potentially, you're looking at 24/7, 365 protection. So now you have to hire an entire team of experts to be able to obviously manage and protect your infrastructure. So affordability is a huge factor as well. So working with a third-party company like Rhyno and that offers an MDR and gives you all those services, it's going to be a much more cost-effective solution.
Yeah, let's put it into perspective, Andrew. So, for example, let's say you want to hire a security specialist or a security expert, and let's say you're spending just $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
okay, you hire somebody for $100,000 a year. That person won't be able to work in your environment 24/7. So it's only 1/3 of their time, available time, 2,000 hours to be exact, are going to be able to work on your network and actually physically work on your stuff. When we're talking about the MDR, it's a fraction of that. and it's 24/7. So when you balance things out, check and balances, the MDR technology and becomes a much more affordable
It's
proposition for you.
let's just be clear, Dan. It's a fraction of what that number was you just said, like substantially a
Absolutely.
fraction of it, not even close to that. So it's
Exactly.
such an affordable solution to give you all of what you're looking for without having to hire, without having to, to having the expertise, without having to put the system in place,
Yeah,
without
but
having it's crazy.
yes, I know you're saying it's a fraction, but let's suppose it's 100,000.
Yeah,
Let's still think that the MDR is 100,000. It's still better value for
much
what you
better,
get,
100%. Yeah,
because you get all the experts, you get the 24/7 eyes on the dashboard, you get all the analysis, you get the tools, you get the technology, not just one person that you're hiring.
exactly.
So even if it was $100,000 per year, it's still affordable. It's You get more value, more bang for your buck, basically, right?
For sure. And you know what? I also want to shed something on here. And I'm putting this, I don't know if we're being recorded, people are watching, etc. But one of the things we take pride in at Rhyno. So let's say you hire us for one of our services, but we're talking about the MDR, which is 24/7, 365. We don't just say thank you very much and then we take your money and we just monitor and we send you reports. We are an interactive company. We are an extension of your company, and you would only understand that when you work with us. But you can check our Google reviews, check our resource, check the companies we work with. If you're ever working with us, we are an extension of. It's not just you buy us, you buy the service, and we say see ya. We'll just ask for your money. We are an extension, and I just can't reiterate that much. I am so proud of that. That the companies that we actually engage with and we've been working with for over 16 years. Continue to still work with us because of our customer service, because you can pick up the phone and say, hey, Dan, I have an idea for you. I know this has nothing to do with the MDR, but I'm thinking about doing this or doing this. What are your thoughts on a security perspective? Yeah, no problem. And we'll have a 15, 20-minute, half an hour conversation with them to guide them. And that's not extra cost. We just do that because you're our partner, and we're very proud of that. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I think it's really important in a webinar like this.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So now, drum roll.
Drum roll. Affordability. So the bonus offer, which I think is really, really exciting for everybody, what we're offering for the month of April is we're doing vulnerability management. So what this entails, basically, Dan is breaking it down here. So it's monthly internal and external vulnerability scans, monthly reporting, and vulnerability risk management. I'll let Dan talk about the vulnerability risk management because it's really, really important. But what I want to hyper emphasize on the bonus offer is, so as an IT individual, if you're here watching, if you're an MSP here watching or applying to another company, if you're a CEO or C-level executive or manager and thinking, should we implement this? This bonus offer is, it's thousands of dollars, basically, or just shy of $1,000 a month in savings in regards to added value for doing internal and external vulnerability scans, as well as all of the reporting and the risk management. And what that means to you is, for your IT individual or your MSP, we are identifying vulnerabilities each and every month, internally and externally, because as we know, networks are living organisms, and anything that you introduce to them or potential risks are always being changed. It's always being manipulated. So to have constant vulnerabilities on your internal and external network is priceless, with the reporting that goes with it. So then your team can go in and make sure they mitigate those risks each and every month. So it's great for insurance purposes. It's great for compliance. It's great for mitigating those risks. So many factors. So this is a great offer that we're providing right now for the month of April that we would love to have you guys talk about on an individual basis. And on that, Dan, if you want to talk really quickly about the risk management, because I think that's critical.
Absolutely. So I just want to I want to let you know about something. What is our premise as a cybersecurity company? What is our goal? What is our main objective? It is to keep and maintain our clients secure. Period. That's what we do, right? So by introducing this bonus offer, what we're doing is we're helping you mitigate and remediate all the issues, security issues that you might have inside of your company. And this is a symbiotic relationship, because by you fixing your own vulnerabilities, it's going to help us alleviate our workload in terms of all the alerts that we have to look at and all the responses that we have to do in your own network. So it's a symbiotic, complementary a relationship between client and partner or vendor. So what we're doing is we're providing vulnerability management. And the thing is, it's not just about the scanning and the assessments, because once you have a report, if you don't act on it, if you don't remediate and eliminate some of the threats and start tackling your vulnerabilities, then the whole thing, the whole engagement of having the penetration test or vulnerability assessment is useless. At the end, the purpose of a vulnerability assessment is to be able to fix the problems that you have, right? So that's why we're offering vulnerability risk assessment. We have our tools. For example, you can see here where every month we are doing different types of scans, so internal, external, with different tools, and we collect all the vulnerabilities. So you can see here, for example, critical vulnerabilities being introduced into the operations, high, low, medium, etc. And then in this other dashboard, what we see is all the vulnerabilities that we're accumulating and then closing vulnerabilities. So when we do this management, we can see what's being introduced into the network and what's being fixed. And as the time progresses, we are going to be able to tell, okay, yeah, the network. I have other graphs in here that I'll show you. I can show you in a personal demonstration,
Exactly, yeah.
where we can see a burn down chart of the cybersecurity risk management for GRC purposes, which is fantastic. So you can show your investors at the end, this is what we're doing in terms of cybersecurity, and it is working. So this is 100% complementary for you. Exactly. As part of our MDR service, and this is thousands of dollars. So that's why we're so happy to introduce this bonus promotion for you.
Absolutely. So what are next steps for you guys? So thank you so much for joining us today. It's really, really important. Again, we wanted to talk very surface level about the MDR and the importance, but hyper focus on the bonus offer, which we've done. So next steps, I have basically sales at Rhyno.io. We have Sonia at Rhyno. The reason we have Sonia is Sonia is the director of operations, and she organizes all the operations. But I know she's personally reached out to hundreds of people in the last couple of weeks. So for those of you who have joined from her invitation, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, Sonia, for actually sending those invitations out. But please email her back, Rhyno.io/content. And then, of course, our phone number, 1-888-505-2989. Because what we would like you to do is schedule a personal demo. We can talk to you about your network because every network's different. Every situation is unique. We want to be able to have the opportunity to give you a deep dive in regards to exactly. Sorry, but I'm at my home, as you can see. My dog is barking in the background, so my apologies. A little human component there. But what I would like you guys to do is reach out and schedule a personal demo so we can actually talk to you guys specifically about your network and what you require.
I'd be more than happy to do a personal demonstration with you to show you the tools of the trade, how we do the vulnerability assessment, how we do threat hunting, and how we're able to do risk management as well using our tools. I'd be happy to. So just go in there, send an email, and we'll schedule a personalized demo for you.
Absolutely. And what's really exciting about the live demo is Dan actually does real-time threats. Like he actually hacks systems, and you see the response time immediately. So it's really, really valuable. So please, we look forward to having a demo with you. And I think is that it, Dan? Is that so? We're a couple minutes over, guys, what we planned, but we spoke a little quick, but I know we started a little late. So thank you so much for joining, everybody. For everybody that's does want to reach out, we look forward to hearing from you. And for those of you who can't join us, hopefully you'll see us in the next 2 or 3 weeks when we do this again for you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everybody.